Boom. All right. This is a super special episode. Usually we're on every Wednesday, 11 o'clock, close to midnight, doing our overtime. But this is Overtime episode 52, brought to you by Flight Room TV. I'm your host, Remy Please. I'm with Lighthouse. I'm with PNHD. I'm with PS5. And we have a very special guest, Mr. Dave West from the Flat Earth Podcast.
Hey.
What's up, Dave?
What's up, Dave? What's up, guys? You're from Lighthouse? Did Lighthouse launch? What's going on? Lighthouse is the streaming service, right?
I never heard.
No, it's StreamYard. Never heard of that.
I thought you said Lighthouse. My bad. What's going on, guys? I was excited to meet some real Globers, but you guys are already questioning the globe, which means you're flat earthers. You just don't know it yet. So we're gonna finalize that tonight.
No, just over here at Flight Room TV and Overtime, we just question everything. So I even questioned, the motive behind Flat Earth. Like, I think maybe sometimes how you look at it could be a psyop in itself. So I'm not too sure about.
You know what? I thought it was a psyop too. I was into all sorts of truths out there. The New York event, the Connecticut event, the Boston event. And when I heard about Flat Earth, I was like, oh, this is stupid. And then when I looked into it, I was like, all right, it's compelling, but it's got to be a psyop to discredit all of the work I've done. But the psyop is that it's a psyop because this is the most important topic of our time. This is the key to our freedom. Because if you are spinning out of control, lost in space in a prison for your mind, you have so many things taken away from you, including your freedom, including your ability to manifest beyond your wildest dreams, because your wildest dreams are trapped in a ball, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't want us knowing all of that. And this topic, everyone goes, Dave, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, why are you talking about Flat Earth? Because Flat Earth is one of the two keys to our freedom.
I mean, expand further on what is it about it that is a key to our freedom? Like, how do you start there, and how does that link to everything else that's going on in the world right now?
Yeah, so I woke people up to those events I talked about, and other things, and they're like, oh yeah, I see that, but those people they're going to go away, and and then they just go back to work and they forget about it. But when you wake people up to Flat Earth, everything changes. There's never a day that they don't stop thinking about it. There's never a day that they're not excited to learn more about what's going on. They all of a sudden can see all of these other things that are happening in the world. They can see through the deception. They can see that they're at the center of creation and not spinning out of control in a heliocentric, ridiculous universe. And once you understand that, really things start opening up for you, and the whole world changes. I mean, they want you to think that you're insignificant, that you're nothing, that you're spinning out of control, lost in space, right? We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. We're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. I'm rounding down on all of these things, by the way. And the entire thing is moving sideways at like over 1 million miles per hour. Right. And when you say these numbers, people just short circuit. They're like, oh, that's kind of fast. Right. So I'm going to show you something. This is called the hypersonic sled. Watch it. Mach 8.6. Here it comes. Don't blank. Ready? Did you see it? Nope. Okay. Watch again. Yeah. It's going to go by a Mach 8.6. And you have to remember, according to the heliocentric model. Okay. According to the heliocentric model, we are going 10 times faster than that in our orbit around the sun. We're going 90 times faster than that chasing the sun. And these are all curved paths. Imagine driving in a car with a plate of water, a dinner plate filled with water, taking a turn. The water's gone. Okay. We're going 10 times faster in one direction, 90 times faster in another direction. And we have lakes that look like this. Okay. Okay. Welcome to Flat Earth, guys. We're not moving. We're not moving at all.
All right. Well, Dave, you keep saying they, and like with any like conspiracy theory or crime against humanity, you always want to point the finger at they. Like, who are
these
they?
Guys?
And, like, what's the motive? What's the motive behind?
The motive is what I told you. It's about control. It's about if we knew what this world was, if we knew that possibly there's more land. If we knew that we were at the center of creation, if we knew that nobody had dominion over us, that we are sovereign beings that have free will and no one can break that free will, if we knew that the only control the government has over us is in our imagination, okay? The only control they have is in your imagination. Imagine 9 billion people watch this podcast tonight, okay? That means some people watched it twice, okay? And everyone goes, hey, you know what? They're right. The guy's got a good point. Screw the government. I'm done with them. I'm not going to listen to anything they say. Well, it's over. They're done. They're finished. Okay.
Yep.
So once we understand who we are, where we are, what we are, that's half of the journey. We're still playing on their Monopoly board. You guys ever play Monopoly?
Oh, yeah.
You have a Monopoly board in your house. You have the instructions. Go look at the instructions. And it says, if the bank runs out of money, just get some paper and write some more money on it. Okay. We're playing on their Monopoly board. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. We need to get off the Monopoly board and into privacy cryptocurrencies, not Bitcoin, not these other ones that you all know about. These are privacy coins that nobody knows. It's like if I bought something from Cash from you guys or anybody, cash is cash. No one knows where it goes. Privacy coins, same thing. Government doesn't have any control over them. And it's instantaneous way to transfer money, anywhere across the plane. So those two things, get off the Monopoly board, the banks crash. All of this crashes. Everything crashes. It's going to be ugly when the change happens, but it's going to come out on the other end, and we're going to be free people, able to explore this amazing plane that we live on.
All right, so I have a question. So let's say the round table, as you know, as you have in this diagram. So is the flat Earth, is that like ancient knowledge? Is that something that was believed, wholeheartedly before, and then this whole global Earth thing was more of a manipulation, something they conditioned us to do, to believe over time? Do you think that people from the past believed the Earth was flat, then we got, conditioned believe that the Earth is round, and now you're uncovering this now, but what's the, was the round Earth thing first, and then flat Earth got this, kind of uncovered it, or was that something that was created to manipulate us?
So history is written by the victors, and his story is that the Greeks figured it out 2,000 years ago, Aristophanes with his sticks and shadows. Okay, that's nonsense. That story came into existence in the mid 1900s. It was stuck into Rockefeller textbooks, and it's nonsense. It never happened. And even if it did happen, which it couldn't, with the timeline that they give us, it works better on it works the same on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. There's things that are going to fall into 3 baskets. Works on a globe Earth, works on a flat Earth, works on both. Lots of things work on both. Lots of things work on a flat Earth. Nothing only works on a globe Earth, and you'll see that tonight. So you know the story of Aristophanes with his sticks and shadows.
Yeah, I was reading that earlier.
Yeah. So the story is Aristophanes knew that the sun rays came in parallel. I don't know why the hell he would ever think that. No one's ever seen parallel rays come in. They always come in corpuscular rays. They always come in spreading out. No one has ever seen rays. Now, a globe will go, that's because of refraction. Okay, refraction. They're still not coming in parallel. It doesn't matter, right? There are no parallel rays. But if you look at a flat Earth with a local sun, no shadow, and then he did math to figure out the sphericity of this flat plane, right? Assuming it's a ball, assuming the sun is far, assuming the rays come in parallel, which no one has ever seen, right? Then you can come up with some great math that says something that's totally not true.
Go
ahead.
All right. No, you about to finish your point. I got
No. My point is, this is they assumed parallel rays. They assumed the Earth is a globe. Here's Aristophanes. Here's his buddy. Somehow he's communicating with him 500 miles away. He gets this angle of the shadow, does some math, figures out the sphericity of this ball, and they brainwashed all of the kids, all of the adults, everyone. Carl Sagan did it in Cosmos, was when they really rolled it out, and everyone believes it. But on a flat, non-rotating Earth with a small local sun, here's Aristophanes, here's his friend, here's the same shadows, does the same equation and figures out the sphericity of this flat plane. This is something that works on both. Doesn't prove either.
Well,
okay. So if the Earth is not, if the Earth is really flat, then what about the other planets? We've been getting taught about all 9 planets. Mercury, Neptune.
Yeah. So which one?
Other planets. Yeah.
Which one do you like? Pluto? Do you like Pluto? Pluto has a desert that looks like the dog Pluto. Okay. This is the picture.
Wow.
This is the picture of Jupiter. This is NASA told us this is we filmed their northern lights, which proves it has a magnetic core. Okay, look at this. Could you do this? Do you need Photoshop to do this? No, you don't. You need like MS Paint. You could probably do this in MS Word. Okay, it's so this is from NASA, and if you look at these two paintings, because they are paintings 2 years apart, all of the clouds are exactly the same. They just made this one a little darker. Okay, they use the same painting. Now either they're lazy or they're purposely telling us, they're purposely showing us what's going on, right? So then if we look a little farther at what planets really look like, our optics have outgrown their lives. If I can find my Mars picture, I've got a video of Mars. When you zoom in on planets, where'd it go?
Like how they dance.
Yeah, how they move around. And I just can't find the picture. It'll come up in a second.
So our planet's not really solids? That's what you're saying?
What I'm saying is we don't, anything that's above as high as we can reach or beyond the shoreline of Antarctica where no one's allowed to explore, it's really off limits. So, this is what NASA shows us. And our best optics show us something completely different. That we see these pulsing orbs of geometric shapes. We can scientifically prove, if you take the time and actually use your brain, when we look at Mars, well, you look at Mars in the sky, it's the brightest star in the sky. It's like, wow, it's really bright. And then you think, well, they're telling us it's a dusty, dirty ball that's farther away from the sun than we are. So if you were standing on Mars and you were looking at the sun would be even smaller. So you have to believe, standing here on Earth, that Mars, far away from the sun, with that smaller sun, that sun's reflecting off of that dusty, dirty ball and reflecting all the way back to Earth, and it looks brighter than a star. That's impossible. That's impossible because there's many things. The inverse square law of light means every time you double the distance to a light, it gets a quarter of the brightness, or every time you half the distance, it gets 4 times brighter. So if you're looking at Mars, it's like, all right, it's pretty bright. If you went halfway to Mars, it'd be 4 times brighter. And then halfway again, 16 times brighter. Halfway again, 64 times brighter. It would be brighter than the sun in no time. Same thing with the moon. With the moonlight that we're seeing, it would have to be brighter than we see the sun, when in fact, the whole thing is a lie.
The question on the moon, why are you able to see the moon during the daytime? Because I've actually read some things where people say there's actually 2 moons. So I'm just curious because we never really learned about the moon in the daytime in school.
Shaq, you want to chime in on this too? How you was overseas and you seen?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's a couple of different things that I've seen, David. Just being overseas, and seeing different correlations and the stars, and it's just I questioned a lot when I went overseas in the Eastern, Middle East, and Africa. I was actually out there for a couple years on both regions. And so I just saw something weird. I saw the moon, and I saw 2 stars. One was vague. I'm sorry, 2 suns. One was vague, and then one was full.
So there's a lot of researchers now that are we call it the second sun.
Wow.
Or as Crow 777 Radio calls it, the spirit sun. And I have a theory that the sun and the moon that we see, and possibly the stars too, we're not actually seeing their actual source. Their source is being projected maybe through a firmament into our reality. And that's how we're seeing them. And during eclipses, and I have some videos that
I was going to ask about eclipses.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But when the sun is really getting dimmed and it's not blinding you, we can see the source of the sun behind it. Okay. And sometimes under certain weather conditions, you can see the source of the sun or the source of the moon. Perhaps we're trying to figure it out, but it's definitely not a rock in space. I mean, this is Mars through a super zoom camera. It's not a dusty, dirty ball like they tell us. And, if you look at just what NASA shows, with the Curiosity rover, which is up there working great for years, and somebody keeps washing the solar panel off, which is just amazing. Dust storms without rain ruin solar panels in days, not, decades. I don't know how long it's been up there. And sometimes they show it dusty, sometimes they show it cleaned off. So, the conspiracy, the people that, the NASA fanboys will be like, oh, it does rain on Mars, but they don't want us to know that. I mean, you could just make up stories. It's so easy to be a glober because you could just say anything.
Yeah. All right. So Dave, do you not believe in any sort of like secret space programs? Like, they might say we can, we can't. I mean, we haven't reached Mars yet, or we haven't reached, certain planets yet. Yeah. And we're blasting off in jet fuel, dick rockets and shit like that.
Yeah.
But do you think there's like technology that exists that's like,
I think there
superior
is.
to that?
I think there is, but they're not going to outer space. They're going to the outer space. Okay, we'll get into that in 1 second. Here is a shot of Mars from the rover. You can tell because it got a little bit of a selfie of itself.
There go
Here's
Greenland.
a spot.
That's a conspiracy in itself.
It's the same friggin' land.
I read about that one too.
Yeah, and I mean it's so easy to fake this. Google Earth. Jaron from Jaronism found on Google Earth that where they were testing the stuff in Greenland. And you can see the NASA trucks and the rovers, and it's literally on Google Earth.
I did see that video. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Did see that video. Yeah.
I mean, and again, did we catch them? I don't think so. I think they're putting it out there. I think they're always telling us what's going on. So
right.
Is there outer space? First, you have to understand, flat Earth is not this. This is what they want you to believe. This is the Flat Earth Society. Google Flat Earth. You're going to find crap like this. Because
the Netflix special.
Yeah, the Netflix special, that was a total hit piece. The people that did the Netflix special did a hit piece on the Connecticut school event that happened. Total propaganda.
Oh yeah, we're hip to that too.
That one test in there though. I'm jumping all over the place, but that one test in the Netflix,
laser.
Yeah, like
yes. So again, we've explained it a million times, but I'm going to explain it right here, real quick. So the test was very simple. We had 3 pieces of plywood, a mile or 2 apart or whatever they were. And we had holes leveled off of water. So we knew the holes were all at the same height compared to the water. And we're using the water as our level. And we said, if you take a laser beam and try to shoot it, you'd have to level it, right? And there's no way. It's a micron off and it goes high in the sky. A micron down, it shoots down at the ground. But we said, if we shoot through the first hole, and we're going to try to go through the second hole to the third hole, on a ball earth, the middle board would be higher. There's no way to get the laser through all 3 of them. When we were doing it, the laser beams spread out, but we had a condenser. It melted. The entire thing melted, right? I forget how many thousands of dollars it was, whatever. It melted. We couldn't use it. So then they're like, all right, how about hold on the light? And they're like, hold the light up. Can you see it? And he's like, no. Can you see the light through the hole? No. Raise it up. Can you see it? Oh yeah, I see it. And then he goes, and Jaron goes, oh, interesting. End of movie right there.
So they moved the basketball.
No. But then he brought it down again, and he goes, oh, I see it again now. They left that out of the movie. But even the amount that they moved it, there should have been like 27 feet of curvature or whatever, 7 feet of curvature, whatever it was. He only lifted it like, I don't know, 3 feet in the air. Okay. Yeah. So when you look at it, it was a complete deceptive hit piece. Again, Netflix is always they're out there controlling the minds of the world. Netflix is another big problem.
Yeah.
And you think this whole, go ahead, Phil, you got it.
Oh no. I was gonna ask if the
all the slides and everything else.
I know every question you're gonna ask, man. Every question you're gonna ask is here. Go ahead.
So if it's flat, has anybody ever been to the end of Earth?
Yeah, I was going to get into that.
Yeah. So again, we're not a disk floating in space. We are living in a giant lake. Okay. Large bodies of water, anything bigger than a bucket of water lays flat at rest, period. A drop is a drop. That has surface tension and everything. Anything bigger than a bucket of water lays flat when it's at rest. The Earth is 70% water. I think it's actually more. And there is no curvature, testable, scientifically provable, measurably flat. Okay. All of the continents are surrounded by water, but the water needs a container. The edge of a lake, think of a small lake or a pond, whatever. It's where the land is higher than the water. Because if you dug out some of the land lower than the water is going to flow away, right? Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Antarctica is not a continent at the bottom of a ball, 12,000 miles around. Okay, Antarctica
In the
is
sky.
Wow, you dropping jewels.
It's basically in the sky, right?
My God. Wow.
Antarctica is the shoreline of our world. And see this pink line? This is 60 degrees south. Nobody is allowed to go there. No corporation, no oil company, no human. Nobody is allowed to go there without special permits. Now you could spend 15, 20, 30, $40,000 to go for 3 days. They'll take you to this peninsula here. They'll show you some penguins. They'll show you some icebergs. They maybe show you a ceremonial South Pole like out here. Maybe they take you 10, 20 miles out here.
Wait a minute. Who's patrolling all that? Who's patrolling all that? If we're not allowed to go.
Who's patrolling all that? That would be the
military.
That round table that I showed you. But let me show you is going there. If we look here on the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and we go into the images button, and we scroll down to what Flat Earth Banjo has prepared for me, is here. Shrink down. I just made that big. Why is that so big? What's going on here?
Oh, it's sectored off.
It's why is it going big like that? See, things are just not cooperating.
Take your time.
They're on to us, Dave.
Maybe it's just that one image. How about this one?
They're listening to us.
All right, that'll work. It's not really showing it right now, but these islands that surround the world are all controlled by the crown. Okay, remember the Falkland Wars? Why are they fighting over a little tiny island way south? It's because they need these spots, and anybody that tries to go out there will be stopped by force. People have been stopped by force. People that got permission from their countries to go,
South Africa,
stopped, turned around, sent home, put in jail. Okay, so even if they let you go out there, how are you going to navigate? Compasses don't work, GPS doesn't work, and that's how there's all of the islands that they patrol. So there's your patrol right there. That's large swaths of ocean. Large swaths of ocean. All right, go ahead. Next question.
So, in a sense, though, isn't that like a tool to make you feel like insignificant if we can't leave Earth?
Absolutely, the True Man show, right? We're trapped in this globe, right? Yeah. They don't want us to know that there's more. So, what are they hiding, right? And there's a lot of things that they're hiding. It's never one reason. I mean, they're hiding more land. They're hiding who we are. They're hiding the creator. Resources. They're hiding resources. What's going on in Antarctica? That you're at the center of the universe. They're hiding the creator. They're hiding everything to make you feel small, insignificant, scared, weak, afraid. Everything. They want us to believe
so they can control you.
What's that?
So they can control you. So
it's all about control, right?
Yeah.
The only who said the whole world is a stage? You guys know Shakespeare, right?
Yeah.
He was fake. He never existed. The guy that said the world's a stage is a group stage of people. Actor, right? Is a made up person. That's how much the world is a stage.
Yo, I was watching this thing earlier about how they say astronauts are actually fucking actors and not even really people that go to space. All types of wild shit.
We're gonna go there.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We're gonna go there.
That was gonna be my next question.
We're gonna go there in a minute, and then we're gonna answer your question about the secret space program because I'm a fan of the secret space program. Okay, so where was I going? I was talking about
the outer space.
No, that was before. It was
let's go back to that outer space.
The outer space. So all right, we'll go back to the outer space.
So quick question, David.
Yeah.
When we're just talking about, all right, let's say we're talking about kids at this point, right? They're 6 or 7 years old. You know, at this point, everybody is taught that
Go tell a 6 or 7 year old that the earth is flat. They will rip your head off.
Exactly.
Right? Because the indoctrination starts before you can talk. I mean, your parents. Go ahead.
Go ahead. So my point is, though, let's say that there's a 5 or 6 year old that is homeschooled and that does not know that the earth is round. Do you or flat, right? They just know that they live on some form of society, and it has a hard ground to it, and you have gravity to keep you down. Do you think, I'm just trying to, nudge, like, what aspect or what level are they controlled? You know what I mean? Is there an aspect to, you know, them, even if they don't know that the world is round or flat, like are they controlled in any way? Because I know you mentioned that if we think that it is round, right, we're kind of going with what society is saying, and you know, their whole nomenclature.
Here's the thing: don't believe anything I say today. Go verify it yourself. Right? I'm going to show you that everything NASA says, the only place that you can never go, we just have to believe them, right? We just have to believe them. I'm going to show you undoubtedly that they're lying about everything. And then you could just forget NASA. NASA is just a bunch of acting deceivers that are soulless, basically. But I don't believe the Earth is flat. I know it's not a spinning ball. And I bet you anything that it's flat. The construction of this world, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe we live on this plane inside a toroidal field. That's all fun to discuss, but we're not spinning out of control. You go to a kid that's never been taught either, and you say, "Hey, so what do you think? Do you think that looking around, looking in nature, do you think that the Earth is flat and not moving? Just like you feel right now, like you're standing here." And you're not feeling anything, as I'm scrambling for an image. Okay. So, you bring the kid in nature and go, do you think that we're flat and stationary? Or do you think that we're moving in two different directions faster than this rocket sled? Okay. And the answer is no kid is going to say that they're moving 10 times faster than that in one direction and 90 times faster in another direction. And then, if you look at we're getting into the planets, the distances and sizes that they tell us things are impossible. I mean, they tell us, you guys know how far the sun is? Have you been doing any research?
I don't know the exact number, but
so they tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if the sun was, 10 miles over our head, it would look like this. It would just fill the entire sky, right? And you move it away, it gets smaller. Why does it get smaller? Perspective.
It's moving further away.
Due to perspective, things get smaller. Yeah. So you move it 93 million miles away, it goes from filling the entire sky to the size of a coin held at arm's length, just like we see it. Okay. So that's a lot of reduction. What if I made it 5 times farther? How much smaller would it get? Well, if you do the math, 3 times farther, you couldn't see it because it would be smaller than your eye can see. But let's just be safe and make it 24 times farther. Because if it was 24 times farther, that's 3 light hours. The distance it would take light from the sun, I think 3 hours to get to us if it was 24 times farther. You with me?
Yeah.
These aren't hard numbers. Just follow this because they didn't teach us to think this way. So they tell us Polaris is a lot bigger than our sun. It's we'll call it 48 times bigger. It's 46, but I'm going to use 48 because it's just going to be easier. 48 is 2 times 24. So to make Polaris the same unseeable size as the sun, we have to make it 6 light days away because it's, 2 times whatever what with the 3 light days, 6 light days away. Let's call it a fucking light month. It doesn't even matter. We'll just round out. We'll round it way out. There's no way you can see it if it was that far out. Right? A light week, a light month, doesn't even matter. And they tell us it's 433 light years away. That is magnitudes beyond. I mean, there's so much fluff in there. Yeah. There's no way. And then the only answer a Glober has will just kind of change the topic and go, well, you're not really seeing that light. It's been traveling for billions of years and it's actually moved, right? It can't travel. It gets smaller. The inverse square law of light would disappear. Okay. Mm-hmm. You can't see things that far. That's scientifically provable, but people's brains weren't taught to think that way. You were taught to memorize and regurgitate and get the A. Okay.
Yeah, that's 100% right.
That's all. The indoctrination camps have made the world so stupid. I used to say we're one step away from idiocracy. We are in the middle of the movie Idiocracy at this point. Okay.
It's all theater, man. It's all theater.
But as far as like perspective though, like, sun in front of the moon in front of the sun, looking out at sea and stuff like that, can't you just chalk it up to just like, stuff we can't explain, like certain phenomena?
There's lots of things we can't explain. There's lots of things.
What's the one that like the floating boats in like the water was like Fata Morgana, whatever.
No,
whatever
it's not. You know what? I had that. I have the image, but let me see if I have it. But this is the sun. A soldier filmed this in Afghanistan, and the sun just clearly going away, getting smaller and smaller. Clear day, high, whatever the altitude was, and there was nothing, no humidity in the air, and the sun goes away. And Paul McCartney says it: the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning round.
I told you some crazy shit over there, man.
Yeah.
I told you.
Okay, so somebody in the comments, and I don't know how, like I seen it out all these comments, but Captain Cook and his his explorations and stuff like that. I don't know if it was him. I might be fucking this up.
It was. I know the answer.
But like how he circumnavigated the lower hemisphere of the globe, and it was way larger than any other part.
Right. So if you want to prove, here's the thing: we try to talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson. And Bill Nye, these are all just shills, a failed actor, a failed comedian, and they will not engage us, right? We're Eric Dubay, one of the first flat earthers that really hit the scene, was supposed to debate Neil deGrasse on the Joe Rogan show. He even promoted it, had it in his schedule, and Neil got the phone call, "Don't do it. You're gonna be disgraced." And
wow.
And he won't do it. Neil says he doesn't have time for flat earthers. That's a great excuse, but he has time to make video after video after video, straw manning us and gaslighting us, right? Again and again. You want to end flat earth? Let's just prove it tomorrow. We can do it in one day. Take an airplane.
Flat earthers.
2 airplanes. Go over here to the base in Antarctica. You guys come on the plane. We'll get Neil deGrasse on the plane. We'll get a bunch of flat earthers, a bunch of globe earthers, and we get 2 airplanes. And you fly about 1,000 feet in the air and just offshore, and you follow the coastline around. One goes this way and one goes this way. This way you can verify that you're following the shoreline. Everyone's looking out the window. You can verify that the plane's not going extra fast or extra slow, because you can say, I've been in an airplane before. We're going about 500 miles an hour. I can tell. And 6, 7, 8 hours later, you're going to meet over here, 7,000 miles, 6 or 7,000 miles later, and you'll meet here. But that's not how the earth is, right? That's not how the earth is. Captain Cook was the last one to really try to circumnavigate. It took him 3.5 years, and he went over 60,000 miles. Okay.
Crazy.
60,000 miles.
3 years.
Maybe it was 60 to 70,000. I forget. They don't even know, because without GPS, I mean, even with GPS, GPS is run by the liars at NASA. Compasses don't work out in the outer regions because they're too far from the north. Okay. The north is the magnetic center. And, have you guys looked into circumnavigation yet? Look, this is how it works. At the center of the flat earth, for you and your listeners, we have the magnetic center. This compass is pointing towards the center. Well, I'm trying to push this compass west. West is not a straight line. West is a circle, because I have to keep turning to the right. I have to keep turning to maintain the heading. West is right here on the compass, right? So I think I'm going in a straight line because I'm following my compass. Like if I had you on a racetrack going 500 on a circle, 500 miles around, you'd swear you were going straight. You would be driving straight. Right. You wouldn't know that you were turning. But if I try to go straight and not correct to the north, I'm going to go west and I'm not going to correct. Watch, I'm already heading south. Okay. Look at the compass turn. It should turn a little more. The magnet's not strong enough. South is every direction away from the center. Okay. And that, by the way, that works on a flat earth and a globe earth. Here's what doesn't work on a globe earth. On a flat earth. You can't go south and pop up over here. Nobody's ever done it. No one's ever gone south and popped up on the other side of the earth. It's never been done. Okay. It's never been done. Why is that?
It makes a lot of sense.
And
A lot.
they
lot
say,
of
well,
sense. That
we
makes a
can't
lot
go
of
over
sense.
because of the Antarctic Treaty. We don't want to disturb the penguins. It's too cold there. You know, a rescue would cost too much. I mean, how many rescues have there been? I mean, you could fly around. Nobody's ever done it, and all the people that claim they have done it have been proven to be frauds. Proven frauds.
So,
Yeah.
so if we pretty much live at the center of of creation, like you said earlier, so
Yeah.
that means that whole concept of aliens and UFOs, that's fake. That can't be possible, right? Because something will have to be coming from outside.
Incorrect. So if we live here, this is a map from a Japanese map, 10 centuries old, with a whole bunch of continents out here. So if we live here, this outer ring is the shoreline of our lake. We call this shoreline the Antarctic shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
Out here are other continents. If we live here in the inner space,
It's probably why they look just like us.
they probably speak English. Okay. Okay. If we live here in the inner space on this land, what would you call the people that live here on the extra territory in the outer space? And if they live on extra territory, what would you call them?
Extraterrestrial.
Yeah,
from outer space.
Holy shit.
Okay.
What a rabbit hole, man.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Wow.
That answer my question like shit. All right, okay. So what about asteroids and all that stuff? Like right in I need to. We had dinosaurs. Asteroids killed the dinosaurs. I saw one before, a shooting star, whatever the hell it was.
I've definitely seen. I've seen a whole night of shooting stars.
So I mean, what explains those?
So this is such a good one to talk about. I'm trying to find my my proof that dinosaurs existed slide. So we'll talk about asteroids. The meteor showers. Well, we're in August and we're going through the Perseus meteor shower. A meteor shower is when a comet went by and we're passing through its tail, right? We're passing through where it went and we're picking up the dust. That's what they tell us. Okay. You have to remember that we're corkscrewing through space. Okay. We're corkscrewing through space, traveling 4.5 billion miles in one of the directions, right? We're going this way. Like right now here, a year later, I'm going to be 4.5 billion miles from this spot. Are you telling me that asteroid trail is mirroring all the motions of our solar system? It's following us. And every, third week in August, we run by those same things. Here's the thing. If we lived on a ball and asteroids, meteors were, pieces of sand falling into our atmosphere, they'd go this way. They'd go this way. They'd go this way. They go every way, right? You would see the meteors shooting up from the horizon because they're just coming, whizzing by up. No one's ever seen a meteor go up. They all go down.
Yeah.
Down. Now, what are they? I think they're just electrical phenomena. The Earth has a negative charge. The firmament, whatever it is, has a positive charge. And there's all sorts of electrical phenomena going on around us. And it happens at certain times of the year.
All right. So you talk about the firmament a lot. You just fucked me up too. The firmament a lot. So those are like in, a religious text. Are you like a religious person?
100% not. I used to listen to podcasts. These guys are great. I got 3 pages of notes. They're talking about 9/11, everything. And then they'd mention the Bible. I'm like, rip up those notes. These guys are religious, religious nut jobs. And I would let them go. Now I do a podcast called the Flat Earth Podcast. My co-host is a Bible literalist. He leads with the Bible. I never lead with the Bible because I know people exist like me, like I used to be, where you mention the Bible, they check out. Right? You don't need the Bible to prove flat Earth, but you can prove flat Earth and go, yeah, now look at the Bible. It's all backed up in there too. Yeah. Right?
There was a gentleman talking about that. I don't know what expo they do in South Carolina every year.
We're doing it Flattoberfest.
Yeah, there you go. Oh wow.
Are you guys coming? Are you guys
now.
Where you guys local?
We're DC
area.
All right. Listen, October 23rd and 24th is a Saturday and Sunday. I think those are the dates. It's in Spartansburg, South Carolina. Spartanburg.
I don't know.
I always get that wrong. Okay. And it's just look flatearthfestivals.com. Flatearthfestivals.com. You guys have to come. You will have the friggin' greatest time. We have the second day is like a music festival. It's gonna be amazing.
They and like a National Geographic out there doing something.
All right, so I see a question. How do seasons work?
Oh, thank you for asking. Thank you for asking.
That's a good one.
Seasons absolutely 100% prove that the Earth is flat, period. Okay. So we're looking here at the flat Earth, sun, moon, and zodiac clock again. So the sky is a clock. The sun goes around once every 24 hours. Right now, and there's so many people that get in the app now and they're emailing me, there's no moon on your app, it's not working. Well, we have a new moon. Okay. If I speed it up, the sun goes faster than the moon, and you'll see that the moon appears from behind the sun, just like it does every month. So everybody relax. The moon is on the app. Just give it a couple days. Okay. So the sun goes round and round. You see the two circles, the two yellow circles. The inner one is the Tropic of Cancer, and the outer one is the Tropic of Capricorn. And if we move the sun to April, May, June, if we move the sun to June, it's over the Tropic of Cancer. And that's when we have our summer, okay, in the inner north. So imagine you guys, it's winter, we're up here in Vermont or whatever, and we're outside. The two of us are sitting outside 20 feet apart, and we're freezing our asses off. And somebody holds a big heat lamp directly over my head, 10 feet over my head. I'm like, I feel that heat. I look up. That's my summer sun. The other one is looking at that, sees that light. Oh, it's far away and it's lower in the sky. It looks lower just due to perspective. That's their winter sun. It's farther away. Okay. Right now, look, the sun just went over Miami. It went over Mexico. It's hot there. It's winter in Australia. But if we move the sun 6 months forward, and the sun goes out to the Tropic of Capricorn, it's their summer. The sun is over them and far from us. When it's far from us, it's lower in the sky. Okay? That's all it is. And then anything in between the two yellow lines, that's the tropics. The sun really never gets too far from them. Miami is right on the line of the tropics, you know?
It makes a lot of sense.
What's that?
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
And no, it doesn't make sense. What doesn't make sense is the whole tilted ball theory. Think about this. They tell us we're tilted away from the sun, just that little tilt, 23.4 degrees, and that's why we have our winter. Okay, because the sun is spread out. Did you know that during our winter we're 3.5 million miles closer to the sun, according to the helio bullshit model? Okay, okay. We're 3.5 million miles closer, and just that little tilt. Well, if that was true, think about this. When the sun appears on the horizon at sunrise, that's the most tilted the sun could be. Forget the sideways tilt. That's another, no matter where the sun is, that's the angle they're measuring. So that's an 89-degree tilt when you see the sun on the horizon. But in June, I could feel the sun on my face at sunrise. As soon as the sun shows up on the horizon, I'm like, it's warm. Lay down on the beach, take a nap. It's amazing. Then in the winter, in December, here in Connecticut, at solar noon, when the sun is at its highest point for that day, let's say it's 40, 45, 50 degrees up in the sky in angle, I could look at the sun. I can't even feel the heat on my face. And we're 3.5 million miles closer, according to the helio nonsensical model. None of that makes any sense. And here's the problem. You guys have been thinking about this enough. You guys followed me on that. Most people just check out during that explanation. They're like, that's too much for me to really think about. Okay. Because once you think about it, once you understand this simpleness of it, you'll realize that it's the dumbest thing ever. You know, you guys asked me before we started recording, do I have my 3 Bitcoins? Right. Because my challenge. My challenge is anyone that can come up with a glow proof wins 3 Bitcoins. I have another challenge, 100 Bitcoins. Oh, anything dumber than the heliocentric solar system. Okay. Anything dumber. Okay. Just name anything that's dumber than that. I'm sorry. You can't do it. It's an impossibility.
Hey, Dave, real quick question. Just touching into Alaska. I had a couple military buddies that was in Alaska, and they told me how deep, it was, for sunlight. Like sometimes it could be sunlight for, I think, 2 straight months. Sometimes it gets to 3.
So the way that works is, I guess I got to go back to the app real quick. If you think about it, the sun sets due to distance and perspective, and then it goes behind an atmospheric deck. I'll show you that in a moment. But if I move the sun back into June, so now think about people are here in Alaska in the middle, in Norway. Okay, the sun's really never that far from them. It never gets that far, right? The distance from Alaska to any point on this line is never far enough for it to set. That's why it's up all the time. Right? But if you're farther south, like here in Connecticut and New York, well, the sun, it's daytime here, but when the sun's all the way over here, it's nighttime. Sun's too far away. It sets. I'm going to show you how it sets in a moment. So but the thing is, in June, we have a 24-hour sun in the inner north when the sun is arcing around us, the Arctic, it arcs around us. But on a globe, 6 months later, you should have the same sun conditions at the same degrees south. But that's not what happens. In the south, there is no 24-hour sun. They try to tell you there is, but there isn't. There's fake videos. And also the plant life, the weather, everything is completely different, and it coincides with a flat Earth, like we're looking at here.
So what about the 9 months of pure darkness? Okay,
so in the Arctic, where the sun is arcing around you, you have your 24-hour sun, but when the sun goes all the way out here, it's never close enough to Alaska for the sun to rise. It's always out of reach. Okay, it goes all the way around. It's never near. It's never close enough to these places in here. Okay, and that's same thing out here. When the sun's all the way in here, there's nighttime. It's nighttime out here. It's nighttime.
And it's cold.
And think about this:
red one, the equator.
Yeah, well, the red one's the equator, right? When you're out here in the Antarctic, what's the sun doing? Is it arcing around you, or is it antarcing away from you?
Right,
anti-arc. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that equator, like that just is
in the app. If you hit the question mark, up comes, hey, all the questions you're going to ask, and on the left, what about Antarctica and the 24-hour sun? You hit that puppy. Up comes, you open up the YouTube link, and up comes all these videos about Antarctica that YouTube won't serve you, right? All everything completely explained. And then go test it yourself. Go there yourself. I mean, spend $50,000 on a wasted vacation. So
right.
all of the stuff that you want is in there. Also, tons of other stuff. Mud floods. I recommend you guys watch The Lost History of Flat Earth. Talk about the rabbit hole. You'll be so deep in the rabbit hole, you'll realize there is no bottom, so you're never going to hit it. So you can just keep on falling for the rest of your life.
Wow.
That's a cool app, David. What's the app again? Just show it real quick so everybody can see.
It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and
it's also in the description.
Yeah, awesome. It also, if you look, there's some new buttons here on the bottom here that aren't on the app yet. We're working out the bugs. The Meet Flat Earthers. If I click it, up comes a map, and you'll be able to see where other flat earthers are that have the app, and you'll be able to message them. Like if you click it, you can send them a message.
That's cool.
Yeah, some cool stuff. So
it's like a whole community.
Yeah, well, it's a way to find other people, because you know what? Nothing like meeting other flat earthers. Let's say you guys are hanging out at the beach. You went to the ocean for a couple of days, and you look at your app and go, hey, there's a couple other flat earthers here. You can message them like, hey, we're gonna hit the tiki bar in a little bit. Come on by for a beer. Boom, new best friends instantly.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen all the time.
True.
Like-minded people.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so like because the government, or the powers that be know more information than us, is there any like declassified files that we can look into to kind of like
100%. And also in the app, if you click about what about pilots, are all pilots and scientists in on it? And there's a whole bunch of they're actually spread out through the whole thing, but there's declassified NASA documents, FAA documents, CIA documents, FBI documents that say all of their modeling done for their aircraft is done over a flat, non-rotating plane. Does that sound like a ball to you? A flat, non-rotating plane. It says it again and again and again and again in all of these documents.
Yeah.
Right. What about like stuff like Operation Fishbowl and or even like stuff about Libyan gold glass and stuff like that?
So these are the 6 operations. These are the 6 operations that they use to control our minds. In 1959, after Admiral Byrd, when all the countries are fighting over resources, it goes, there's land bigger than the United States, filled with resources that no human has ever stepped foot upon. And they go, let's start a treaty. Nobody can go there. Treaty's in effect until the year 2041. It's the only treaty that hasn't been broken, and it's to protect the penguins.
Okay.
Right.
Dude, the Antarctic Treaty alone should wake you up. It should wake you up to flat Earth, dude. Okay.
And then they said they don't have the technology to go around Antarctica, but they have the technology to send Jeff Bezos' whole ass up to space. So.
They sent a giant dick up into space,
exactly.
and the rocket also looked like a dick.
Yeah,
crazy.
Exactly.
Nobody gets my joke ever. That's a good joke, dude. That's a good joke.
It's a double joke.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, but even in that Richard Bronson video, you can see the bubbles from the fucking fish bowl.
This is actually Richard Branson. He's in a 0G plane. It wasn't even the plane he did wasn't even it. This is like a regular 0G plane. A glider. Right, it's a plane that does this parabolic arc. They filmed it, they edited it all together. They said he got 4.5 minutes of free floating time. Well, how come they only show 4 seconds? They only show him floating for like 4 or 5 seconds. Right. Everything's cut. Like with NASA, this is a 0G plane, and they film the whole thing, and you float around when it's doing this parabolic arc. You get like 25 to 40 seconds of weightlessness, and then they just
hold on. What about the times where you can go like on the ISS space station, like live, videos and see them floating for like, one straight shot for 5 minutes or so?
No, they're I'll show you that in a second. First, Jeff Bezos, they love their sexual innuendos. His dick looking rocket. Yep. This is what they showed you. Look, what's this thing doing?
Austin Powers.
Look, what's he doing?
Powers, yep.
Okay, exactly. This is what they showed us. This is comical. Okay, they're children.
Yeah, they're making fun of you.
They're absolutely making fun of you. So they do all sorts of different things. When you're watching stuff on the ISS, it's not live, and sometimes they're hanging from wires. Right? Look at these guys. They always have these heavy utility belts on. What are your pants going to fall down in 0 gravity? What's going on underneath their pants? Like, why is he moving his legs like that? These guys are hanging from wires. Okay. And sometimes when they do flips, they get caught in their wires. Okay. And all sorts of stuff happens. So other times they're on a 0G plane. Okay. This is a 0G plane. This is a 0G plane meant to look like the space station. They're showing us right here.
Right.
Okay. Other times they use, these guys were flipping their hat around and flipping the microphone around, but way in the background, this guy floats by, and I zoomed in on him. You could see the harness and the wire.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Glover argument is, they have that for safety. What? How do you hang from a wire in a 0G plane and move around for safety? You'd probably end up hanging yourself. Okay.
No, right.
Or just getting tangled in your wires. Many times they have CGI glitches and they go, oh, that's just artifacts. Right. But everything that's floating disappeared, and everything that was stationary stayed perfectly fine. Okay. These are layer issues.
I don't know. I've seen something better than that though, as far as like International Space Station stuff. Like this one that said like the most detailed space station.
This ball is helium. This is a CGI object. Watch again. It's not there. Now it's there. And now she manipulates it. It's called augmented reality. She's moving things around using either contact lens or looking at a screen behind the camera. And they're just moving stuff around, and they can do this stuff in real time. And they screw up all the time. Now you're talking about the tour of the ISS, the woman with the Medusa hair doing the tour. There's 2 tours that are pretty well done, but if you look at them, anytime there's nobody in the picture, that's an edit. Okay. But she's doing this thing, and basically she's hanging from wires. Think about this. This is easy technology, but people can't fathom it. She's hanging from wires. How can she go up a tube or that way and then down a tube and around if she's hanging from wires? And the truth is, she's just hanging from wires she can pivot around. And when she grabs something to pull herself, she's actually moving the whole space station through her. It's all a green screen. And she moves the space station. So it looks like she's moving to it, but she's moving the space station in any direction that she wants. It's all done on green screen. She's not moving at all. There's a whole bunch of ways to do it.
Everything is a lie. Everything is theater, pretty much. That's
everything.
That's basically what you're telling
Shakespeare.
So I mean, so I guess that's even just the whole, like, you know, Star Trek, and we grow up, we see cartoons with space people, and this is just all just to further indoctrinate us, and to the point where we won't even be open minded to this perspective, because we've been seeing it over and over again our entire lives since children.
100%. You know, I grew up on Star Trek. I watched every episode more than once, right? Star Trek, Star Wars, Lost in Space. It's all about space. Look how much space propaganda is out there. And
they all do it too.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles in space, Power Rangers in space.
It's unbelievable. It's everywhere. And most of the time you don't even notice it. There's globes in every movie. They're just everywhere. They get tangled in their wires. All sorts of crazy stuff happens. Look at this guy. This guy couldn't lift his legs up. He couldn't get over. Look, you wouldn't move like that if you're free floating in space. Okay. This guy's got a harness right here. You can see the wires pulling out of his shirt, right? And crazy stuff with their clothing. I don't even think that their clothing that we're seeing is completely real. And then here's one. Watch this lemon. They got a lemon. Look, it goes right through his hand. This lemon is just like that stuffed animal. Not real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So unwind this. We never went to the moon. Okay. We never went to the moon.
Oh, yeah. We
unwind
seen a
it.
lot of that.
Unwind it. We never went to the moon. This is what they used to show us on television. This is from the moon landings. All right.
Yeah. You gotta tell me, we got the Air and Space
What's
Museum
the theory?
up here.
What's the theory on what the moon and the sun are, though?
The moon's cheese. All right. The moon. Here's my theory. The moon is something that delivers and removes souls from the earth. Prove me wrong.
Interesting.
I don't know. It has to. It affects women's reproductive cycles.
Me too, but I like it.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that. Yep.
It affects women's reproductive cycles. We were going to talk about perspectives. Look, as the sun goes away, it's just going beyond the clouds and the atmosphere that's getting compressed. And because it's higher, a celestial object, it looks like it's going behind it. It looks like it's setting below it, but it's just going beyond it. Okay? It's just like going beyond. Out. It's just going beyond it,
and we're still on the same plane, and it's just going out.
Yeah, let me show you this. This is like 2 minutes. Follow me here. Yeah. So this line is the path of the sun, and it's level. I'm showing you that it's level right now. Okay, and we're looking at it from a celestial point of view at the same height, and it's moving along. This is the sun, and we have this could be mountains, it could be a cloud deck, whatever. This is an opaque barrier, and the sun never goes below it. Now I have another camera from a terrestrial point of view that's on the flat counter looking at it. So here we go from the other point of view. And if I showed you this first, I said, is this line level or is it going down? What would you say? And is that sun going below that deck? And this looks to be, and because it's in the distance, it's compressed into the horizon. So you think this is the horizon. You think this is the horizon, and it's way over. The camera's way below that, but in the distance, everything compresses. The sun just goes beyond it. Now watch. This is a real sunset. It's just moving away. It looks like it's going down. Here's the atmospheric deck. You think this is the horizon, but it's really this. But you can't see the difference between these two because it's too small. I'm just zoomed in and I made it a little bigger. But all of that compresses. You think it's setting below the curvature. It's not.
Yeah, it's just going further out.
It's like just going further away. And here's one. If you haven't seen this one will blow you away. Okay. So I've got a drone and I film over. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm looking over the West. It has to be like 30 degrees outside, below freezing, no humidity, super clear day. And the sun was high in the sky. In 5 minutes time, it went down, 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 down. And if the earth was spinning, it would just keep on going. But it didn't. It went down, 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 down. And then it stopped. And it sat here for 10 minutes. What? It went from way up, In 5 minutes, it sat here for 10 minutes. This is sped up 2,500%. Watch. It never goes down. It just disappears into the thickness of the atmosphere. And its light, the sun being the brightest light that we have, it can't even push through the atmosphere. Okay, so let me show you an example of what that would mean. Here's a spot in Aluja, France, where we're looking out over the ocean, and Mount Canigou is out here, but you can't see it because it's 175 miles away. According to the globe math, the top of Mount Canigou should be a mile below the physical curve. If you're a glober, you think this is the curve. But remember I showed you how the sun migrates in between the two tropics, 6 months in, 6 months out. Okay. There's 2 times a year where the sun lines up with those viewers and Mount Canigou. And on those days, the light bouncing off of Mount Canigou isn't bright enough to push through and make it to your eyes. So you just see sky when you're looking at Mount Canigou, right? You think, oh, it's just sky. There's nothing there. But when the sun lines up, the sun's brighter. It backlights Mount Canigou. And look, this is Mount Canigou. This is all of Mount Canigou. And the very top right there should be a mile below the curve. But it's not. It's right there. Now, the Glober argument is, well, the mountain is over the curve by miles and the sun is already set, but it's refracting up and magically stopping at your eye level because that's what refraction does. You know what I say to that? I look at them and I say, what do I say? I say, oh, they stole my glasses. Oh, they're there. I say, cool story, bro. Cool story.
Oh man.
hey, stemming off that, what would you say the top 3 places are to, look at the Earth, like the best 3 places?
Everywhere. Now, over land, there's so many things that can get in your way. Go to Kansas, Florida's flat, but there's always things in your way that are above your eye level. Something that's a millimeter over your eye level will block out an entire city line. You can be sitting at the water's edge and there's a small, 4-foot wave out there that blocks an entire skyline in distance because the wave is still here, but the things in the distance got smaller and smaller and smaller, and it would just disappear. Just like you can hold your finger out and block, a whole building out with your finger. Yeah. So over water, over calm water on a clear day, and not too hot because the humidity in the water will create miraging and all sorts of stuff. But you can look out over water and see, we can, our consumer optics have outgrown their lives. We can zoom in, like, look at this tower. This is way up there, but watch what happens when I zoom out, right? If you were looking with your naked eye, you'd be like, oh, that the city over there must be over the curve because I can't friggin' see it. Okay. You think that's over the curve. This is what you see. You don't see it.
Wow.
Because it's too far away and its angular size becomes too small. So watch that land. It's just gone. And that's how your eyes work. Okay. You can't see this. And then also, if you take an infrared camera, all of a sudden you can see stuff behind there, like mountains that are another 100 miles away. And if you do the math, it's the distances that we see are absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. We see in 2D as well. So we actually, as humans, have some sort of hindrance where we can't even see actually in 3D.
Right. It's called the angular resolution limits of our eyes. Look right here. No boat. Oh, look, there's a boat. So the angular size of that boat becomes so small that you can't see it. So we're going to zoom in on the boat. Watch, you're going to see the whole side of the boat. There's the whole side. Now, as we zoom out, it's just like the boat's going away. All those people are naked, crazy. By the way. Okay. And the boat disappears from the bottom up. The boat disappears from the bottom up. Look, the boat's gone. The window's gone. The whole boat's gone. Now, a Glober would say, well, it's because it's over the curve. Well, it's not over the curve. It's just you've lost your ability to see it. It's angular size.
To see it, yeah.
Yeah, it's out of line of sight.
I know. I'm about to be on that now.
Hold on,
I can't see this out here.
All right. If space is fake, per se, what the fuck is space? But what is space if it's fake? What is it?
I think it's water. I think there's waters above and waters below. If you look at stars, before, yeah, if you look at, it's on the first page of the Bible. Not that I ever leave with the Bible. Look at stars through, they kind of look like they're underwater. Look up star in a jar where they put sound waves into a jar of water and these little stars appear in the water from the sound waves. So what is this place?
You know what's crazy?
But everything starts from a sound and then the sound turns into light, right?
The universe, you mean? The one verse? One verse, the earth was spoken into existence. You a Bible believer?
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
What
Who are they?
That's what
Yeah, I feel you.
Truth and all that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You guys asked me before, am I religious? And the answer is I'm definitely not religious. I'm anti-organized religion. But when I realized that this earth was created, this earth is intelligently designed, right? There's no chance that it was a big bang. I believed in big bang. We all grew up, pond scum turned into a frog, that turned into a rat, that turned into a, whatever, and turned into a human, right? And I believed all of that. But then once you really look at it and go like, it doesn't make any sense that we are intelligently designed. This earth is intelligently designed. Therefore, there's a designer, a creator. Okay.
Right.
And that's where I draw the
Architect.
line. That's where I draw the line. It's up to you to figure out your relationship with the creator. Whatever you want, names you want to put on it, whatever you want to believe, that's your journey. It's no one else's journey to tell you. Now, people could say, hey, this is what I found. Hey, read this book. This is interesting. That's your journey. Okay. But knowing that there's a creator is the thing that changes everything. And yes, there is a creator. Who is it? You can say it's an alien if you want. You can say that.
That's probably one of the biggest things I took away from like all this is like the verbiage, just the words, how they coincide with definitions that we use daily. But it's like simple things, just like you would say, universe and just all types of things that coincide. Yeah, just outer space, all that stuff.
All the stuff, everything, and NASA talks about is nautical terms, right? Why nautical terms? The Sea of Tranquility, the ships, the docking, all of it. Why are they using nautical terms? Why do we see bubbles? Well, I don't think that they're actually in space. They do their training in pools and they pretend to be underwater. But I don't believe anyone's been to space. If you watch some of those rockets that look like they're skimming across water as they're trying to break through, but I should probably include that in my slides.
Oh,
here.
like a bird's eye view.
Yeah,
they could probably be recording bird's eye.
Somebody filmed one of the rockets going up, and then filmed a boat on a lake, and they look the same. They look like they're making the same kind of wake. Crazy stuff.
I've seen that illusion.
And what is the reason why they can't film the Earth from space is Antarctic view? Like, why is it always, America, Africa, like that type of view? Why is there never?
Because there are no photos of Earth. There are no photos of Earth. We can't get up high enough to film the Earth. All of the photos of Earth they're all paintings. They're all nonsense. Look at the size of the United States. This one's hard to see. Let me find another one. NASA admits that all of the pictures from space are photoshopped. They're photoshopped. They're painted before they had Photoshop. Where are all my photos? So the people that say, what about photos of Earth? They're the ones fighting that there's photos. NASA doesn't even fight that there's photos. They say they made it in Photoshop. They're lazy. They use the same clouds again and again. Okay. The United States is half the size it is here. What happened? People say that we're getting fatter. Maybe that's it. Okay. If you look at the layout of the Earth, this is one shot they show you. This is how much of the land is here. You have to believe that all of this land, all of this is on the other side of this ball. Okay. They can't get their proportions right. They didn't go to art class.
So when the pilot is getting trained and they're flying all across the planet, like what are they looking at? You know what I'm saying? Like
they're looking at a flat Earth. They're looking at a flat Earth. They're flying straight and level in their airplane with their gyro that holds rigidity in space. Okay, they're not diving. They're not nosing down. A pilot flying 550 miles an hour after an hour would be 30 miles higher in the sky if he just kept flying straight. He'd have to keep nosing down, and the gyro would keep him on a straight path. Most pilots know. I used to say some pilots know. Most pilots know, but they don't talk about it publicly because they want to keep their jobs. Okay. All the Qantas pilots, they all know. They all talk about it amongst themselves because they know if they open their mouths, they lose their job. The Globebusters show interviewed a KLM pilot, and the next day she was grounded. Right? She was shown, and the pilots have shown us all sorts of evidence. Next time you're on a flight, if that ever happens again, ask the pilot, does he nose down? Do you nose down? Because you'd have to nose down on an average of a mile every 2 minutes. Okay. That's a lot. You're sleeping on an airplane, you're having a good nap, And all of a sudden the pilot just slowly, hey, we're about a half hour from landing. And he just slowly starts going down. You wake up, you're like, oh my God, we're changing directions, right? You know, your body senses all of that. Okay.
Yeah,
your body senses all of that.
Yep.
And then think about this. If you're on the equator, this one, again, people just short circuit. You guys can handle this. If you're on the equator, the Earth is spinning around once a day. Well, the equator is about 25,000 miles around. Okay. Just under 25,000 miles around. So you're moving about 1,000 miles an hour. Okay. Because to make it all the way around in one day, you got to be going just over 1,000 miles an hour. You with me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
If you're sitting on the equator, you're moving 1,000 miles an hour through space because you go around once a day. Well, what if you're all the way up in Alaska? You're still only going around once a day, but you're not making this big circle. You're making a tiny little circle up here. So maybe you're only going 200 miles an hour. Okay. Let's say you're a mile from the North Pole. You're going around once a day and you're going 3.14 miles in 24 hours. That's like an eighth of a mile an hour. You're going less than a mile per hour. So you're on an airplane, right at the North Pole, you take off and you fly to Ecuador and you want to land on this runway right here that's heading north-south, a north-south oriented runway. Mm-hmm. It's moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour. How are you going to land on it?
Exactly.
How are you going to land on it?
But it is so damn large, you can't feel like that type of
that's just words. You're just saying words that have no meaning whatsoever. Okay. They have no relevance to what I just showed. It's going 1,000 miles an hour. How does that plane get that sideways momentum of 1,000 miles an hour? And if you want to say, well, the plane sped up, this plane only sped up to 500 miles an hour. Where's it getting the other 500 miles an hour? Okay.
Right.
Yeah. That should
and then
be
if the plane went to the equator and then took a left or a right and started flying with the Earth, well, it's only going 500 miles an hour and the Earth is going 1,000 miles an hour. So is it flying backwards? And then they go, well, the air is gravitationally locked to the Earth and you're flying within the air. Baloney. A summer breeze pushes the air left and right. A butterfly could fly. The air is not Velcro to the Earth. It's sitting here on the flat Earth.
So the flight should be quicker if we're flying against the
right. And how about this? The air at 40,000 feet outruns the spin of the Earth. It's going faster in the same direction as the Earth is spinning, but it's outrunning the spin of the Earth by hundreds of miles an hour. Does that make any sense?
That's wild.
Shit fucking
Not at all.
Right. Anyway, and just to finish off NASA and SpaceX, this I really don't even need to narrate this, but I will. This is
I don't fuck with SpaceX at all.
Yeah, this is supposed to be real. Okay, look at this thing. This is a combination of a balloon, CGI. This isn't even real. Look at this thing.
Exactly.
Look at this thing. Right, this thing's gonna go up. Now watch. It's gonna turn its engines off. It weighs like 40,000 pounds. Look how high it is. Now look how low it is. Okay, and it's gonna free fall back to Earth. It's going to free fall 40,000 pounds. Now look at the smoke. The smoke will kind of give you an idea how fast it's moving. Is this thing free falling 40,000 pounds? Watch the next scene. Ready? Right here. Look at the smoke. Now look at it. It's barely moving. It might not even be moving. Okay. And now look how high it is all of a sudden.
It's a movie.
This thing is free falling, and now watch. These little engines are going to come on. It's going to turn over. They're going to get the impossible shot. Oh, look how high it is again. They're going to get a possible shot from underneath, and it's going to land up right where it took off from. Ready? Watch this. And this little flame. The three rockets are going to go on, and then watch. Two of them are going to turn off. Watch, and this little flame is going to stop this thing and land it upright. Look at this thing.
Yeah, Iron Man do it better than that.
I know, right?
Look at this CGI smoke. That's all fake smoke. If you have know anything about
it,
that's why I kind of believe in the secret space program, stuff like that, because like this makes us like borrow money to like finance all this like jet fuel and doing it the old boy way and stuff like that instead of using electromagnetism and what I'm saying, just super. Let me.
I'll help you out there. Yes, there is a secret propulsion program. Okay, a secret where they're using electricity, they're using free energy to move faster and better. I'm sure that stuff exists, but they don't want us to know about it. And it's not to go to up in the sky into distant, ridiculous distant planets. It's to go to outer. It's to move around our plane, to go around places. If they can get beyond Antarctica, maybe they're going to those outer lands. Okay, maybe they're visiting the extra terra out there. You know, maybe maybe that's where the real controllers of our world live, in the outer space. You know, maybe they live out here, right? And they have that. So yeah, secret propulsion program, I'm on board. Okay, but they're not going to outer space. Think about this.
So nobody goes to outer space. You're saying, Dave? Nobody.
There is no outer space. There is no outer space. But think about this.
We look up, and that's not outer space.
No, you're looking up at everything that you see is within the Earth system. And I already showed you that we can't see the stars at distances they tell us. That everything that we see is here. They're local. All of the stars are here. They're all implanted in the firmament. That's why every night, every year, on the same night, you go out, look at the stars. They're in the exact same position. They're in the exact same position. Now, the day you die, the day you were born, your grandparents, go out the same night. They're in the exact same position, but we're traveling billions and billions and billions and billions of miles, and none of the stars move. That doesn't make any sense at all. Doesn't make any sense at all. So the
I don't
closest,
know. That kind of makes me feel insignificant. If you're saying us not being able to travel to space makes you feel insignificant, us not being able to travel through
what
space
if the world was set up like this? There's other worlds out here. Maybe there's other puddles out here. Maybe there's a trillion other puddles. Maybe this could be yeah, this could be we don't know. There's so much out there, and it's within our reach. Okay, think about this. The closest star is Alpha Centauri, 25 trillion miles away. Well, how far is a trillion miles? Well, you know how far it is? It's fucking far. Right? It's so fucking far, it's impossible. All right. So if you were traveling a mile a second and you traveled for 1 trillion seconds, how many miles would you have gone? A mile per second for 1 trillion seconds. You've gone 1 trillion miles. Right? So let's say you wanted to go to the nearest star. You're traveling in a rocket ship that's moving at a mile per second. After 1 trillion miles, 1 trillion seconds, you're 1/25th of the way there, right? Okay, you're 1/25th of the way there. You got to do that 25 more times to get there. How long is a trillion seconds? How long is a trillion seconds? Guess it and you win a Bitcoin. If you guess it within a day, you win a Bitcoin.
Trillion seconds.
Come on, real quick. Real quick.
Hey Siri.
No. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri, text mom the F word.
Trillion seconds.
Stop it. Hey Siri, stop.
I'm saying a month.
That backfired. That backfired.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. So you're cheating because you're Googling. If you traveled that time, it's 31,000 years. You've gone 1/25th of the way to the first star at that speed. Okay. And that's the closest star. The other ones are magnitudes farther. Okay. Way farther. That's the closest one. Okay.
31,000?
1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. You know what? I've said that on 150 shows or more. And every time I say it, it still blows me away.
Yeah,
1 trillion seconds is 31,000 frigging years.
No,
and they tell us the closest star is 25 trillion miles away.
Exactly.
If you're traveling a mile a second, which you've never done, no human has ever gone that fast, and you went 1/25th of the way to the closest star, you've gone 31,000 years, and you have to do that 25 more times to get there to find out that space is fake. Hey Siri, stop.
That's crazy.
Hey David, just what are your thoughts on like the core, right?
Wait a minute, just hold on one second. Hey Siri, shut the fuck up. I think it's sent out like 20 text messages. And now I get all the flat earthers going, what the hell do you have Siri for? You know, they're listening to you. Yeah, they're listening to everything. I'm just making it easy for them. All right, go ahead.
Dave, just want to hear your theory on the core of the Earth. There's some theories. We actually talked about it on one of our shows, on one of our episodes. Like, do you believe that there's anything that has not, of course, been discovered that might be at the core of the Earth that we just don't know about, even if it isn't a globe?
So when you say the core of the Earth, that you're assuming there's a core. The deepest hole ever dug is less than 8 miles. Okay, whether the Earth is flat or a globe, the deepest hole ever dug is less than 8 miles, 7.5 miles. Okay, putting that into perspective, it's like if we were drilling through the skin of an apple, you made it halfway through the skin. Okay,
yeah.
And when they drilled, they were using ground penetrating radar to see what they're going to hit next, and they were wrong every step of the way. Every time, no more water, no more rocks. They hit water, they hit rocks. Okay. And then they hit an impenetrable barrier, and they couldn't get through it for years. But all of a sudden, they know what the next 4,000 miles is. Okay, when they couldn't guess the first 7 miles, 8 miles, right? And then they tell us there's a molten magnetic core. Look up the Curie point of magnets. Okay, Curie point of magnets is when you heat it to a certain temperature, before it melts, it loses all its magnetism. So a molten magnetic core is equivalent to Jeff Bezos and his penis rocket. Okay, they're just making fun of us. Okay, right. So what's below the flat Earth? I don't know. Maybe we're sitting on a turtle's back, just like the Mayans said. Okay, who the hell knows? I don't know, man. I don't know.
But I mean, pretty much every living thing on the planet has a core, right? And if you can grow, grass, trees, vegetation, all that comes from the Earth, then Earth would have to be a living thing, right?
How about this? Everything on this Earth was alive at one time, including rocks, everything. Everything was alive.
I heard about that. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And by the way, in the app, there's the Tataria button, and then the Stellium 7 button. Talk about rabbit holes, man. Bring food and water if you hit either one of those buttons.
All right.
Yeah, Tataria.
Yeah. I kind of, was going to there could be, living organisms, at the center. It could be, like the core, like your nervous or your central system. To your brain. We just don't know,
I think that we are part of this Earth system, that we can't live off of this Earth. We're connected to this Earth. This Earth feeds us our electrons. Everything in this world is run off of electricity and magnetism. Those are the only two forces in this world. And we are, getting free electrons. I'm barefoot right now. I'm always barefoot, but we're connected to this Earth, and that it's a living system, and we're within it. Okay, so
it's like the cells in your body, right? It's like the cells in your body. The cells in your body can't live outside of it. It's like the same concept.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the system. The experiments are done where they take a cell of your body or some blood or whatever, and they separate it from you, and then they shock you, and then it has the same reaction no matter where it is, because it's always connected. Everything's connected. It's amazing. So expand that out to the astrology, where, when Mars is in retrograde, don't do certain things or whatever.
Right.
Well,
right.
That's not a rock 25 million miles away. It's an energetic source right here within the Earth system. And it's all connected. All of these pathways of energy and stuff that are going on. This world is indescribable. We're just figuring it out now. And there's lots of different theories. Is there a dome over us? Is it a flat dome? Is it a solid dome? Is it an energetic dome? Is there no dome? What is space? We're figuring all of that out. And that's a fun conversation. But the one thing that we all agree on, and is scientifically provable, is that we don't live on a spinning space pair flying through an infinite space vacuum, right? Once upon a time, there was nothing. It exploded and became everything. That's fucked up. And then all of the rocks turned into balls because of this magic gravity. And then all of the gases turned into bigger balls and left a vacuum in between. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Gas balls in a vacuum?
You think Earth was created?
Like, where did this friggin' vacuum come from? What? All the gravity sucked everything out of nothing?
That was
100
my question.
Bitcoins.
Like,
Anybody? Come on.
How did
100
Earth even
Bitcoins.
yeah, man. How did Earth even come to be though? That was like my question too. Like, do you believe in like what theory do you believe in? Like that created Earth and made it flat as well. You know,
got me, man. It was created.
Yeah,
it was created.
Yeah.
Who created the creator? Who, you know, are we all part of the creator? Are we the creator? Are we all part of it?
I've heard that too.
Here's the way I look at this world. We're in a physical simulation, and the currency of this world isn't dollars. It isn't friggin' gasoline. It isn't energy. Any of that stuff. It's our souls. Our souls are the currency of the world, and everybody wants the souls. Everyone wants old souls, all souls, and they're trying to steal your soul. And that's what many of these evil people will steal your soul because they've lost their souls, right? They've sold their souls. Okay, your goal here is to maintain control of your soul, and to do that, you have to not break anyone else's free will. That's it. That's it. You break someone else's free will, you lose control of your soul.
You're right. Wow. Okay. I feel that. I do, because it is spiritual warfare right now.
100%, and that's how they get away with it. That's how they get away with it, because most people don't even realize that's a thing. They've been just indoctrinated, into nonsensical world that they live in, and the only real statement that I've ever heard anybody from politics say is the only thing to fear is fear itself. That is the only true statement that I really, agree with. Because fear is the only thing that'll stop you from doing the right thing. And that's what they want. They keep you in fear.
Exactly.
I mean, they're not, every once in a while, every couple months, I say, I should watch the news. And I don't make it 5 minutes. I'm like, God, that was horrible. I feel sick. Here's something. Here's something for you.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Fox, CNN, they're not opposites. They're the same thing. They're all
the same shit, man.
And they give you cancer. Just so you know, if you watch the news, you're going to get cancer. That's it.
It probably even is a proven fact that people that watch the news live less.
They don't even live. They're in fear. Like, you can tell the people that watch the news, they're the ones wearing the shame muzzles outside and rubbing poison on their hands every 5 minutes. Okay. Those are the people that are just watching the news, and they have no idea. They have no ability to think anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, man.
Crazy.
All right, I asked you guys before the show started.
You muted.
Oh, me? I'm not muted.
No, Remy, you muted.
Remy's muted. So I asked you guys before the show, and you guys were hesitant. Gun to your head, flat or globe, and you're all almost there. There was hesitation. I think you're all flat earthers now.
No, I'm gonna say I don't know still.
How about that? Wait, let me ask you something.
I know for sure we don't live on a NASA.
Do we live on a globe in a space vacuum?
Nah.
Okay, you're a flat earther. You're in the closet, just so you know.
No.
You're in the closet, dude.
Yeah, in the closet.
Right? It's time for you to come out.
My mind up.
And here's the thing. Don't just believe that we live on a flat plane, and and it's it's the model that I'm showing you. We don't know. I mean, I highly recommend in the app, on the web page, hit the history of flat Earth. My videos on my channel DITRH are between 30 seconds and 5 minutes. When I put out a 5-minute video, I'm like, oh, who's going to watch this? It's 5 minutes, right? I'm a short video guy. This video is over 5 hours, the one I'm recommending. And when people send it to me, I'm like, a 5-hour video? Are you out of mind? And I said, I'm going to watch 10 minutes of this. And I watched the entire 5 hours. And the next day I watched it again. And I watched it again. I'm going to watch it a 4th time. Okay. Watch that video and you will be finished. It covers everything. I put it up on my channel. It's got over 300,000 views in a really short period of time. It should have 300 million views. Okay. But it's on so many channels. It's a life changer. Watch it. Next rainy day, break it out. You're gonna friggin' love it. I watch everything at double speed. I watch that sucker at regular speed.
Yeah, I need to start doing that.
All right, I was gonna say, finishing out though. Of course, I would expect you to be on the side of, the whole COVID thing is like a hoax, or
don't say that. God bless Dr. Fauci. He's the greatest man on earth, and he's doing everything to save humanity. We're on YouTube, and I would like to have this remain on YouTube. So careful what you say.
Well, I just saying, not a hoax. Just there's some fishy elements about it. But I'm not asking you about that part. I'm asking you, how do you think it's going to end? As far as
that's a great question. That's a great question. So I believe that they're pushing their agenda faster than they wanted to because of the number of people that are waking up. This entire thing.
We say this every week.
Yeah.
Please go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
The entire thing could end tonight, not even tomorrow, if just people wake up and unplug. The analogy I use is Neo in The Matrix, in the documentary The Matrix. At the beginning, he's plugged into the Matrix. He's lost. He doesn't know what's wrong with the world. He's depressed. He can't figure it out. His soul knows the truth, but his brain has been brainwashed because it's plugged into the television, to the television matrix. Okay.
Mainstream media.
And then by the end of the movie, he's completely unplugged in the matrix. He realizes who he is, where he is, what he is. And it doesn't matter what the world is because he has reclaimed his power. If everybody would just do that, game over. Okay. The problem is people are so far gone. Their brains, their pineal glands are so calcified. And they're so hypnotized by the news that they're literally, they're fighting for their own enslavement. How's it going to end?
That was beautiful.
Yeah,
very powerful.
Fighting for their own enslavement. If that ain't, I see it every day. It every day. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's unfriggin' real. Here's what I say to people: anybody that does anything that those jackasses are telling you to do based on this whole thing that's happening is part of the problem. I have never once put a shame muzzle on, other than an emergency in a hospital where I put a bandana on my face for a couple of minutes. Okay. I will not put one on. There's nothing that you can make me do that. And then the other thing that they're trying to force, forget it. No one has the right to do that. Absolutely not. It's the end of the world. So that's me. Okay. Everyone needs to do their part and stop complying, because everyone's complying. This would be over if everyone just stopped complying. What if everyone just said, what if Biden comes out on the Wednesday, he's making his speech and he goes, new lockdowns. Everyone goes, fuck you. And they all go back to work and they all go out. It's game over. There's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It's just us, our need to consume. That's what kind of makes us keep going along, put the mask on, got to go in the grocery store. And that's kind of what keeps us,
Absolutely.
In the cycle. That keeps us in the cycle.
I know, but we have to, like, we have a big ShopRite near us, giant ShopRite. I'm the only one in there without a mask every single time. And now recently there's been a couple people, and a couple times they've offered me a mask. I'm like, no, thank you. And they're like, okay, all right. And just, but the thing is, people are wearing masks because they're wearing masks, right? People are wearing masks because other people are wearing masks. But if you really think about it, the whole concept of these masks is insane. I mean,
and
the whole the retina display stuff too. Pete.
Yep, and even the 6 feet, the 6 feet.
Oh yeah, that's another. It's separate. They're trying to separate us.
I know. Yeah, identify it.
Yeah,
I know. We can go deep.
We
can get into.
We talk about this every week on Overtime.
Overtime.
If y'all knew this, we talk about this every week on Overtime.
Yeah. I found my proof of dinosaurs. Look, there's a dinosaur proof.
There you go.
Yeah, you can go into that too. Actually, too. I've heard people say that they didn't even exist.
Well, there were some giant lizards. There was giant people. There's all sorts of stuff. But think about this: in all of the history of the world, all the way back to the pyramids, we never heard a single person ever mention a dinosaur. And then in the 1800s, some royal guy wrote a paper on the theory of dinosaurs, and then a year later, to the day, he discovered the first dinosaur.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Okay. So, and it was just that he wrote a paper theorizing about it. Never found one. Okay. It's called pre-programming or whatever it's called.
Manifestation too.
Whatever. They the same thing with satellites. Arthur C. Clarke wrote about satellites, and then a couple of years later we have satellites, right? It's all baloney. It's all predictive programming. That's the word I was looking for. Predictive programming. So what else do you want to talk about?
I think,
you guys had enough? You tired?
I mean,
Simo, what you got? Because you a little too quiet, Simo.
I'm in here. I'm
Because
I'm soaking it all in. I feel like I was watching
man.
that documentary you put me on to the other day. I'm soaking it all in, man. I'm soaking it all in.
You have
here's-
anything? Yeah, you have any information to offer us that maybe we didn't cover, or something that you like think would just hit to make us cross over
without saying, well, you should have already. For smoke, they wear this. For painting, they wear this. Pesticides, this. Mining, they wear this. Right? Radioactive, they wear this. The most deadly V in the world, this. Okay?
Yeah.
What are people thinking? What are people thinking?
Lives, man. It's saving lives.
Yeah, saving lives.
I mean, the easiest way out of this situation, man, is like we're using all this money for like stimulus money or I don't know, loans and small business loans and shit like that, when you could easily shut down the country for 2 weeks, get rid of that shit, let it run its course, and then open the country back up using all that money. But you want to prolong the shit so long. It's not about, a cure for any
a whole nother
disease or
show
anything.
on another platform.
You just want
I completely disagree with. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it makes sense if we're talking about a real thing. Okay, but that's a whole nother thing.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Exactly.
You gotta, you know what? Here's a tip for you guys. You gotta go listen to on Veritas Radio. The newest episode is with Dr. Andy Kaufman. His presentation is mind blowing. Okay, Dr. Andy Kaufman, VeritasRadio.com. VeritasRadio.com. Dr. Andy Kaufman. Listen to that. The first hour, it's a 2-hour thing. The first hour is free. You don't have to remember. Just listen to the first hour. Just listen to the first hour, and you will be like, oh, okay. I get it. You'd be done.
Definitely.
Listen to it. Veritas Radio. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I think we covered a lot. There's a lot of information here at an Overtime 52, brought to you by Flight Room TV. Probably our most prepared informational guest of all time.
Man, but great information. And we would definitely love you to come back and just even speak on other topics, because it's all connected. At the end of the day, it's all one thing. So
I do believe all conspiracies may be interconnected at the same time.
They all are. This is the most important one. And here's the thing: if you Google flat Earth, you're not going to find it. You're going to just get their garbage. They're feeding you what they want you to see. The app bypasses all of their nonsense. I quit my own company to do this, not because I wanted to sell the app, because the app was enough to support me. I was making way more than enough to support myself, and I walked away from what people would call the American dream. I worked in corporate America, then I started my own company, super successful, and I walked away from it all. Because I said, what difference does it make if we go into a totalitarian, complete nightmare? And who's speaking up? And so I'm like, well, someone's going to speak up. That's what everyone's saying. Someone's going to speak up. Everyone needs to speak up. Okay. The app is $3. There is a pop-up that says, hey, would you like to subscribe? The reason that's there is because people ask for a donation button, and Apple and Google Play don't allow donation buttons. If you don't want to subscribe, hit the X. There's no ads, no wait time. It goes away, and that's it. And you have the app. Okay. You still get everything that's on the app right now. So read the reviews. It's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay. On Google, there's already a Flat Earth Society one by the Ron Media Group. It's not my app. Don't send me emails telling me my app sucks, asking me where the freaking videos are. It's not my app. It's a Flat Earth Society knockoff. It's the highest rated app in the App Store and the Google Play Store. Check it out. And you can find it at my website, the Flat Earth Podcast, or if you can't remember any of that, just remember flatearthdave.com. Flat Earth Dave. All the links are there. If you're looking at this on a computer screen, just point your camera there.
Yep. I just downloaded it.
Read the reviews. Read the reviews. Thank you. And
all the links are in the description too. Every day there's a new video that pops up, and you get a little one push notification. Make sure you allow notifications for FE Clock. And it says, hey, new video today about whatever. I try to do short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend. I just say, watch a video every day for a couple weeks, and then you too will lose the respect of your family and friends because you'll be a flat earther.
Pretty much. It's like that.
Yeah. And it makes it easy. It just, you know what's amazing? I would be pushing this app if it wasn't mine, but it is mine. And I don't know how the hell I made it. It's literally the greatest app. Just read the reviews. There's nothing there's nothing reviewed better in the entire app store than my app. So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting some divine help on getting this thing out. So
maybe
the truth always wins. The truth always survives.
That's right, because you can't bring darkness into a room, but you can bring light into a room and the darkness flees.
Exactly. You know, they try to hide it. You know, they always try to hide the light.
Yeah.
Big old bars. But yeah, once again, this is Overtime, brought to you by Flight Room TV. Super heavy, hard-hitting guest, Dave West. Let's give a round of applause.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you. Very, very insightful.
Very informative.
It's nice.
Well-versed.
I appreciate it. It's nice to have some guys that can think, because I have some people on there. I've had some people that actually, then some of the funniest shows, just the people that just can't process and that like, why would I give you $3 for your app? You know, I'm already paying for my Netflix and my Spotify. You know, I'm like, man. Okay.
But that's what it is. You pay that $3 and you gain so much more. You're a billionaire after that, for real. Yeah, the wealth behind that.
I'll pay anything for knowledge, but yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
You're buying me almost a full beer, so it's good. And then you don't piss it away in 20 minutes. You have it forever.
Yep, there you go.
One more time, make sure y'all subscribe to Flight Room TV, the Flight Room TV. We got a YouTube channel. We got IG. Just go ahead, type in the
Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. Yep. All this like-minded stuff is in our Overtime playlist.
Yes, sir. We're gonna have Dave on once again. We'll set the time of day. He'll probably have him on for another topic.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks.
I appreciate you, Dave.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate
you.
See you guys.
Great.
See ya.